I love the new calming intro, by the way. I'm a big fan of it. It puts me in a different headspace than the old one where I felt like I was like, it's like, all right, get your shit together right now.
Meditation. It's really what it is.
No, for sure. It's needed. It's needed. What's up, everyone? Presented by Prize Picks. Get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 and you use the promo code. By the way, I'm on a 2-0 winning streak. Hit on my numbers tonight. At the minute I saw Shams saying the Warriors were partying for Steph's birthday until 3 a.m, I knew to hit that Draymond under, baby. I knew. I know he'd show up, but I knew the numbers were not going to hit. Anyway, get $50 instantly when you play that first $5. Use the promo code. Welcome to Light Years. Are we in 2015? Like, you know what I'm saying? What's up, Andy? This is a kind of a tough game against, like, we're recording this after the Knicks game, kind of a goon game. I enjoy that kind of basketball. I know you enjoy that style of basketball.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, gooner game. Yeah. 97, 94 is insane in 2025. Absolutely insane. It felt like a playoff game tonight. It meant a lot, I think, to both teams. I think there was stuff that was that mattered. Barely any whistles, I thought. I thought the refs weren't doing the bullshit. Like, we're going to fall for all these grifts, and they just let him play. I thought it was like a true playoff game, and that's perfect for a Tibbs team. And I think, dude, like, you watch this Jimmy Butler team, and these type of games are actually perfect for the Warriors. They actually love these type of games now because they've got goons all over the place. I mean, they started Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, and Guy Santos tonight. I'm just like, oh, God, that's perfect. And Moody.
They closed. Perfect. You see that closing lineup? Really the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter, Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, GP2, Moody.
Yep.
Looney got a few minutes in there. Like, it's just goons who will defend. I don't give a fuck if you can hit a shot, and most of you cannot. Like, it was just kind of like it was that type of Warriors basketball. It's a fun game, man. 14-0 with Jimmy, 14-2 since they've got him. They feel so much like the Dynasty Warriors. I'm not gonna say they are them. But don't they doesn't it just feel like it in terms of the way they play ball?
Well, I think the one thing that it makes it feel like is tonight, I don't think I ever thought they were going to lose tonight. I know the game got close a few times, especially like when Steph came in, they were up 9. I was like, all right, I literally stepped away for a couple minutes. I was like, all right, I'm going to make sure the kids, ready to go to sleep and stuff. I came back in the war. They came back in the Warriors up 4. And I'm just like, am I stressed though? Like, I don't know, this Warriors team, to your point, kind of going back to 2015, it's like what they do is the game's close for the first half, and then Steph goes on a little mini run in the third quarter. They go up by a little bit, just enough, right? They go up by like 10, 11, 12, and then they let them back in a little bit. And then when it comes to crunch time, really what the crunch time difference is they can get stops. The crunch time difference when the Warriors are good is they get stops. It's not that the Warriors go crazy, right? It's not that they make like 10 shots in a row. It's that they play defense. That has always been the case, right? It's always been Iguodala getting a stop. It's always been Draymond. It's always been these guys. So, yeah, man. And tonight in crunch time, the Knicks offense is bad. But in crunch time tonight, the Knicks – did Richard Jefferson say like they didn't score in their last like 6 straight possessions until OG hit that bullshit 3? Yeah, so
sounds about right. The other part of, to your point, like defense has always been the calling card of the Warriors when they're actually good. The other part of it is turnovers. They don't really turn the ball over the way they used to. And that's directly a Jimmy thing.
9.
Yeah, 9. Like, now, maybe that's uncharacteristic. I don't know if that's realistic, but it does feel like when it's time to lock in for them, they're going to defend like they're the best defense in the league or among the best defenses in the league. And they're going to lock into not doing like the bullshit, like we're going for a home run pass. Like, it's like crisp. It's get the ball to Steph. It's live and die, but we're getting a shot up. That's the sort of stuff where, I'll live with that. Defend and let Steph take you home. Like, yeah, it's traditionally worked very well for the Warriors.
That is the recipe. The recipe is not let's make a bunch of threes and try to outshoot. That's actually not the recipe. It's always been let's lock in and let's play defense. And I feel like we do this every show. I know I'm on like once a week now, but I talk about it every show. Is this defense is ridiculous. This defense is ridiculously good. When Quentin Post is coming off the bench getting stops, and I don't know, like Kuminga's playing great defense. I watched 20 minutes of Kuminga tonight. I know there were some struggles, but his defense, 2 games, Sam, I thought his defense has been much better. Much better.
Moses Moody, by the way, like
Right.
went from can't get into the rotation 3 months ago, and it's like the consistent, like, I don't know why Steve doesn't play him more, to now it's like 30 minutes every night. And he plays well. He play like, and not even just plays well. I feel like he gets better every game I watch him. The defense gets better. The offense gets better. There was a bucket he had with somewhere like 3 to 4 minutes left in the fourth where the ball found him and he made a decisive drive to the rim. Key bucket because Cat was going on a little run at that point. And those were the type of things where I'm like, he had 18 points tonight. He's not going to score 18 to 20 every night. He's probably more of a like 10 to 15 point per game guy, but like playing with so much confidence and locked in, really looking like who we thought he was going to be when he got drafted. And maybe it took a little longer than you and I thought, but he's here. He's very much here. By the way, he might have the best contract in the NBA next year. I'll put it that way. He signed that extension. It's like 11 a year. Come on, man. He's an NBA starter. He's a starter on a winning team. Like, yeah, he's probably a fourth option, but he getting paid. Like, has there been a huge drop off between him and Wiggins?
Well, I think that's the thing. I keep saying that's the one thing I think people discount right now is the Moody's actually doing what Wiggins is doing, and he's doing it probably more consistent. Now, the difference is that they were relying on Wiggins to be a second option. That's the difference. Wiggins to be a second option, Moody's a fourth option. But you can see like 11 million for what Moody's doing is incredible. I think when you talk about point of attack defense, it just doesn't matter that much in today's NBA. Nobody's that great on point of attack unless it's like one person, two people. Drew Holiday, you've got maybe a couple other guys. Jalen Suggs is another guy. He's out for a season, but like if you get those guys, dude, worth 25 million, right? But other than those guys, you're not getting these elite point of attack defenders. Most guys are kind of the same. Like Wiggins and Moody guarding a guy Wiggins is better. He's not that much better. Like he's not that much better where you saying you can't do it without him. And we're seeing that now because you put Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green behind what Moody can do, right? Moody's basically saying like, okay, if you torch me or if you get by me, we've got smart enough guys and help versus before, right? We saw before, if you get by a Warriors on the perimeter, they're getting a wide open three. They're getting a wide open layup. I don't think that happens at all anymore. In my opinion, just because Draymond and Jimmy are back there. And they're just smart enough. They're just smart enough to say, we're not giving you bullshit stuff off ball. And so Moody's just good enough on defense at point of attack. Same with Pods. He's hurt, but same with Pods.
And like, I don't usually go into the cap stuff too much on the show. And, it's kind of boring pod stuff. Like, it don't really need to go into it, to be honest with you. But like with the new second apron, it is kind of punitive. And so it does matter if you're able to get a guy who you can count on to be a starter, to be a 30-minute per game guy, who's one of your top 7-8 guys locked in on, I don't know if it's a team-friendly deal or whatever you want to call it, but like those things matter. Those are the things that matter with being able to kind of like really accrue the amount of talent you need to win a title. At least with the direction the NBA is going now, with the way the second apron is and everything. Like it's kind of NFL-ish, where everyone's like, oh, that's a great deal, like that sort of thing. But it's like, it does matter. And, shout out Dunleavy. I feel like this is I didn't know what to make of Dunleavy the first year. Like I knew he was smart. Like he clearly has an eye for basketball, but like, that means you're a good scout. That doesn't mean you're a good GM, right? We've now like seen him for a year, and the Jimmy move, Quentin Post, some of the moves they made, like he's kind of made this team his own in some ways, right?
I think he's done a really good job of finding really good NBA players. Like he's done at least way better than Bob Myers. And what I mean is like just baseline level NBA guys, right? Moses Moody, Quentin Post, even TJD, who's having a bad year. Like even TJD was good last year as a rotation player. I think he'll be back as a rotation player. Brandon Pajemski, right? Like that's not nothing,
Yeah.
man. You draft him at 19th overall picks don't mean they're NBA players, right? Like that's an NBA player for a long time. Moody, he didn't draft Moody, but like Quentin Post, same thing. 55th pick, TJD, same thing. And I just the one missing piece, and it sounded like, I guess, like I never brought this up, but it sounded like he was the guy that pushed for Jimmy Butler. It felt like
Isn't it fucking crazy Isn't it crazy he was teammates with Jimmy? Like I remember it with the Bulls,
right?
but like it's like you're just one, Jimmy's been around that long, and two, you kind of haven't been out of the league that long either. You know, it's kind of like Buster signing guys.
Well, I was gonna say, I was just gonna say, if Buster can do the job, that we'll see. But yeah, I think to your point, like Mike Dunleavy is really good at finding those guys. I think when the Warriors were, even the Warriors, like you go back to 2019, I know they lost because guys got hurt, but at the end of the day, like you had guys like Patrick McCall, like Alfonso McKinney was playing NBA Finals minutes, right?
Jonas Jerebko,
right? Like those things just happen.
Quinn Cook.
I don't know why I brought it up, but I think the point is Bob Myers was pretty washed in terms of finding guys at a bargain, finding guys that could just be. I think OKC does a great job of this, just finding everyone, all 12 guys can just play 20 minutes. And I think Mike Dunleavy has done that and has shown that he can just pick up guys that can play 20 minutes. The one thing that was missing was the second superstar. And I mean, they got it, right? That's why they're 14-1, 7 in a row with Jimmy. Ridiculous. 11 games over 500 now.
I got Jimmy take for you, by the way. Because there's been this focus on getting a second star, and obviously they needed one. And Jimmy's kind of a weird second star because he's not really a scorer. Like he can score, but he's kind of like, what makes Jimmy great is he just does all the winning shit. Plus he has enough scoring juice when you need it. And it kind of makes me think about like, what made the Warriors really good during the dynastic years? I'm not talking about the KD years because those were like, that's a once in a lifetime team, right? And I feel like the unsung player on all those teams was always Andre Iguodala. Like everyone talks about the core three. They always talk Splash Brothers and Draymond. But to me, it was always the four, you know? There's always the four of them. And Andre was just as much an important part of it. They never really replaced him or Clay. They kind of needed both. And I'm not saying Jimmy is both because he's not. All right. But he's got more scoring juice than Iguodala. So in some ways, it's like they replaced that essentially Draymond number 2, a guy who's going to make all the right decisions, who's going to, unlike Draymond, he's going to settle the team down and not turn it over. Excellent defender, communicator, going to walk into 5 assists. Like, honestly, he can have 15 assists a game if he wanted to. Like he just, the way he sees the floor, that sort of thing. But unlike Andre, he's got a little more scoring juice. So they're not as explosive as they were with Clay because he does not have the Klay Thompson scoring gene. But if Jimmy's going to give you Andre plus like, and he can get to the line, he can get downhill, he can do a little bit offensively. It makes it easier to have Moses Moody or Pods, who will never be Klay Thompson, but they can score a little bit. And so it's kind of like, it's the same 4-man formula, but instead of the shooter being like the big explosive guy, he's more of kind of a 15-point guy. And then you got Jimmy doing what Andre was doing, but with a little more juice. Like I don't really see a reason they cannot sustain this because I know that formula is unbeatable. It was unbeatable for a decade. The only thing that beat it is injuries. Literally, the only thing that beat it was injuries. And I'm watching it with Jimmy, and I'm sitting here going like, look, man, 4 rounds of playoffs, very realistic chance they run out of gas, they get injured because they're old. But it's not going to be because, like, I don't see a matchup where I'm like, oh, they don't have a basketball answer for this. I see matchups where I'm like, man, I hope Draymond and Jimmy's like knees and legs hold up. Is bigger for me.
I think the matchup. Well, there's 2 matchups. And actually, I want to talk about your point first before we talk about, if we even talk about matchups. Is That was funny because basically you're saying they could recreate the Iguodala, Klay Thompson in the aggregate with Moody, Pods, and Jimmy.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm getting my money ball on. Let me pull up the meme here.
If
his
they
his only defect is he pisses off every GM he plays for.
Yeah. That he does. That he and you know, if Jimmy was like 4 years younger, I would say like there's a chance maybe even better, right? So I agree with you. I think the Jimmy is Iguodala plus on offense. Now, I think defensively, Jimmy's not close, but Jimmy's super smart on defense. I think he's gotten to the point where he reminds me of LeBron on defense, where LeBron sucks on defense when he doesn't care. And I think there are games when you see Jimmy do, and then when he does care, he's got a couple things, right? He has an intimidation factor. And you see Jimmy has the same thing where like sometimes Jimmy doesn't contest, but he'll knock a guy off when he's dribbling into him. And you can see the guy, now that's strength, but part of his guys don't really want to try Jimmy. Like that's not like that's just an intimidation. Sure. LeBron has that same thing. So I think Jimmy's just strong enough, smart enough, and he's got like that bulldog in him enough to do that defensively. But I think the only thing, I think back to what you're saying, the only thing is like these guys are just old. Like, let's go. If we even take that point and go back to the game tonight, like the Warriors did look old tonight. Like, that's the only thing. Like, the Warriors should have won this game by 15 pretty easily, but Steph is beat up. He looked old. I know they had that birthday party, right? Jimmy's one of those games tonight where he's
4 days to get over a fun night.
It's hilarious how they were talking about that night. And it's like, dude, when did it happen? Didn't Steph turn 37 like 2-3 days ago? But that's what happens, bro. Hangovers are crazy. 3 a.m., you know? But I just think that's the difference. The difference is just Jimmy doesn't want to shoot 20 times a day. Last time Jimmy played New York, Jimmy was like, all right, I'm going to go for 28. Remember that? He's like, I got to put the team on my back. I got to go get after it. We got to get this win. Tonight, Jimmy's like 11 shots, and it felt like he didn't even want to take half of them, right? He was just like, I'm good. I don't want to, because he knows that they can win this game without him going for 25 tonight. He doesn't want to do it. You know, Steph kind of sleptwalked his way to 28. Honestly, I don't really think Steph played that well because he's older. Right? That's just what it is.
And he's also just like good offensively. Like Steph is like the master of like, man, he looks really old and tired. 25. You know, like
28 on 20 shots too.
Because he's that good offensively, right? So
yeah.
No, I mean you're right.
Can't disagree.
You are right. Like, and that's where the young guys really come into this. And let's talk about it after a quick ad thing. But Moses Moody, they're going to get Pods back. I think Steve said pregame Tuesday's the goal, so a week off. Fine. Okay. He's going to be an important piece. Kuminga, I thought he was excellent in game one. Tonight was a little up and down, but I still thought he played really well in general. And that's going to be a huge part of it too, because the old guys can still do it, but they need the young guys to kind of like eat the innings, do the heavy lifting. So when you get to the final 5 minutes of the game, all right, Steph time. Draymond locking in. We saw what it looked like in the early part of the season when they needed Steph to play like 2022 Boston Steph all season. He's just like, fuck this. I can't.
Why would he? Why would he? Let's talk about the second timeline. But before the second timeline, we are brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, run your game all season long. On Prize Picks, best place to get real money sports action. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000x your cash. I've been doing these 6-player pick'ems, but I've been doing them on flex play. So you only got to get 3 right. You get money. You get 4 right. You get more. Obviously, you get all 6 right. You're getting rich. You don't even need to work anymore. It's the beauty of Prize Picks. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineup. So download the app today. Use the code LIGHTYEARS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's $50 instantly when you play your first $5 Prize Picks. Run your game.
Andy, you know why you're my guy?
Yes, sir.
You know why? Because I've noticed you're a good friend. You never said to me that, I was looking kind of fat these days. Like, just being honest with you, everyone knows I like a good IPA. And it wasn't until, a couple of weeks ago, I see a photo of myself and I'm just like, fuck, man, I look really bad. So, I decided to make some changes so I get myself in a little better shape. And part of it was, dude, you get old, you can't drink that sort of crap. Like you just like maybe once every now and then when you want to, but you can't really do it. So I decided, what is going to be my new drink of choice? Because I like to have a good drink, particularly during a Warriors game or after a big Warriors win. And so you know what I came across? I came across Surfside.
Let's go.
Surfside.
I got you.
Surfside, this shit is, first off, it tastes non-alcoholic. Like I could drink this all day. Surfside iced tea and vodka made with real brewed tea, which also I need because I'm always on the verge of falling asleep at night because I have a toddler. And here's the crazy part about it. Only 100 calories.
Yep.
2 grams of sugar.
That's the one.
No bubbles. Like, what are we doing here? That's right. 0 carbonation. So easy to sip and enjoy pre-game, during the game, post-game, at a friend's house. Andy and I are going to do a party. We're going to have some a little later. Guys, this is no joke the best drink I've had in God knows how long. So bring an iced tea or a lemonade variety pack from Surfside and try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. What's cool about them is they just came to Northern California too. You know where I picked it up? I picked it up at Costco. Guys, they're available at Costco, Target, or Rayleigh's, also other select retailers, but those are really the big ones. At Costco, I got myself a nice 18-pack for, I can't remember. It was super inexpensive. And yeah, man, I would suggest, guys, go out there, get a little Surfside.
100 calories, 2 grams of sugar. Dude, I mean, come on, man. Dude, get down like 5 of them, not think twice. I mean, I already have. Unbelievable. Shout out to Surfside, our new sponsor.
They're the best. All right, let's get to it. So you're talking about the young guys. Let's talk the young guys real quick. Who, by the way, are all old enough to have Surfside. Was not the case a couple years ago.
Where do you want to go first? Which one?
No, Which one? I'll let you go.
All right,
let's talk Kuminga.
Let's do Kuminga. Yeah, we're on the same.
Because obviously he came back on Thursday. You weren't on the pod. I thought the Sacramento game was super positive, but I want to be a dick about it. Sacramento is not a real NBA team.
It's a fucking joke.
That game was a joke. Doug Christie threw out like some fucking D3 defense so he could go say, like, I shut down Steph as I got blown up by 40. Anyway, that's it. This is an actual real game.
Yeah. I'm glad Kuminga came back now. I was wishing he was coming back earlier, but sounds like he finally got over whatever he had to get over from the ankle swelling, whatever it was. This team is going to need a little bit of time to get acclimated to play with him, especially in those bench units. But you can see the upside. You can just see the upside if they can get it together, which I think they will because they've got too many smart players. Steve Kerr has made it a point to play Steph with him. Steve Kerr has made it a point to get Jimmy Butler with him. And I think Kuminga knows how to play with Steph. I think Kuminga and Butler need to figure out a little stuff together. And that just takes time, right? Whether it be one more game, whether it be 5 more games. Maybe it takes to the end of the season. But I think you saw a lot of I think Kuminga's been a much more willing passer. 2 things. One, he's been a much more willing passer than I've seen earlier in the season. And I think that's him wanting to fit into this offense that's taken off since Jimmy came back, right? That alley-oop pass to GP2 is huge, but I just think the half-court passing he's made is awesome too. So that's 1. And then 2, defensively, I'm like, damn. Like, I think Kuminga's making it a point to be a really, really good defensive player, similar to what I think Moses Moody and Pods has become in this stretch, which is just get your man, stay in front of him, force him in a tough shot. That's it, right? You don't need to get a steal, you don't need to get a block, nothing like that. Because I don't think those guys are like high-impact GP2 type defenders. But can you just stay in front of your man? And Kuminga's got all the athleticism to do that. I know it looked like he struggled tonight, but Sam, I was super encouraged. I was super encouraged watching him both sides of the ball.
I was too. This is probably his ideal role, particularly when he plays next to Jimmy. Like him and Jimmy, 3-4. Who's the 3? Who's the 4? But like Jimmy's the ball handler, setting him up, and then Kuminga can use athleticism attacking. I think, like, I'm pretty optimistic about the way this is going forward. I liked everything I'm seeing. Sorry, I just saw. So I lost my train of thought there. Chat needs to calm down. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah, no, it's looking good. And like honestly, what they really need to get to is Kuminga and closing units. I'm not expecting him to get to that in the next week because I don't even like. I know they say he doesn't have a minutes restriction, but we know how Steve is. Steve's not going to throw him out there 40 minutes a game in his first few games. He's going to want to feel it out a little bit. Their highest upside lineup will be Draymond, Kuminga, Jimmy, probably Moody and Steph, but let's say it could be Pods. It's going to be some combo of that where they can go to, call it the new version of the death lineup, but definitely a lineup that can switch everything and kind of you have the athleticism to play off of kind of the old guys, veteran guile.
If Kuminga's closing, that's going to be huge. Because first off, I don't think Steve Kerr's ever going to be like, all right, Kuminga's closing for sure, because that's who Steve Kerr is. So if Kuminga's closing, he's probably playing really, really well. I think you're right. I think in the hierarchy of closing lineups right now is probably Moody's probably the fourth for sure, the way he's playing. And then I think his GP2 we saw tonight. I think Pods is in there if he's healthy. I think he does a lot. I think especially
so let me say this to you. Yeah. You mentioned GP2. If they reach their full potential, Kuminga has supplanted GP2, which is to say he is that athletic defensive force, but with an extra 6 inches of size. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. I'm just saying that's like what we want to work towards, which is because he can do everything GP2 can do. Right. He just hasn't done it with the consistency that GP2 does. And some of that's maybe just like buying into the role. Like GP2 went to the G, like GP2 had a long journey to get to where he is. Whereas like I could see Kuminga can do everything he can do with superior physical skills is what I'm saying. So like, will he get there? I don't know. But like, that's kind of what you want to build towards.
I agree. I agree because of the way this team is built now. Because Jimmy is on the roster, that's the reason why Kuminga is I would say probably people are going to say he's pigeonholed, right? But I would argue like Jimmy's on the roster now. They're really good. So how are you going to make yourself into a person that's going to fit in these lineups that can honestly go try and win a title, right? Like that's what they're trying to do now. The argument is that if that's not the case, right, Kuminga can do whatever he wants and shoot 50 times a game. That's what the Warriors should be doing if they're a 500 team, which they were. But now they're not. Now Jimmy's the one that gets the rock. Now he's the one that's going to initiate the offense. You got to go and try. And watching him come back, which is why I'm so excited. Dude is happy as how to do all those things. He put up 8 shots in 20 minutes, got to the line 6 times. Also had 5 assists. I think those are not nothing. And he guarded really well, in my opinion. Now, there are things that he's still going to work on. That's what it's going to take. And I think if they can do this and win at the same time, I think that's the point we're talking about, the second timeline stuff. They're now good enough to do that and win at the same time. However, I do think it is not 2022. They can't. I don't know if they can win like a playoff series or multiple without him playing 20, 25 minutes a game, which they were able to do in 2022. But that was when Kuminga was rookie. That was when they had Otto, blah, 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 right? It was different.
To me, that's going to be the interesting thing because right now, everything is working. Right now, the vibes are off the chart. 14-1 with Jimmy, best team in the league. You and I are like literally acting like it's a decade ago, 2015, right? Like that sort of thing. Literally. What happens when they hit inevitable adversity? And you never know what it's going to look like. It could be just guys start like getting tired or, it's a long season and they stop playing. What I really want to see is, does Steve Kerr stick with it? To your point, does Kuminga still get the 20 to 25 minutes? Or do we get back to he's a sacrificial lamb and, he's getting benched and that sort of thing. So to me, everything I'm seeing right now, like it feels like it's moving towards the direction it needs to. But in some ways, I feel like a masochist saying this. In some ways, I need to see them lose a little bit.
We'll see. We'll see. Well, it's a Steve Kerr thing. We'll see. But I'm optimistic because of what he's done through 2 games, and they have a big matchup on Monday against Denver. Like hold on. Like they've got Denver, Milwaukee back to back. Like let's see. Maybe Steph and Jimmy sit one of the back to backs, right? And Kuminga's going to get to play 35 minutes. Like my guess is that's what's going to happen. Pods is going to be back, hopefully, play one of those games. So. We'll see here, Sam, but I'm watching him, and by the way, does he look as athletic as he did before the injury? Does he look like he's about there? Yeah, I think so. That's a Celebrini thing. They've done.
Yeah,
They
and
didn't
like
bring him
that's the
back
other
too
part of
early.
it. It's like, why do they keep him out so long? It's like he comes back. It's like, okay, maybe that's why. I don't see anything
Right.
that is indicating that he's still injured. And maybe it took a week longer than you or I wanted. But I don't know. It's like Celebrini for me. I never question him anymore.
Yeah, that's facts.
I don't even know that I questioned him beforehand, but like it's just the proof is so far. It was just like just another week. I'm like, well, that sucks for me and you, but it is what it is.
Well, look at GP2. Let's look at
Yeah.
GP2. Look how good he looks. I mean, we haven't talked about him, but he's looked like he's back to 2022. It's the reason why he's closing games, right? Like that's all Celebrini. He had a big game against Portland because Portland, I think, from his perspective, like didn't do a great job with him medically, and that's what happened. It looks like they're probably keeping him out for a little longer until he's 100% because Pods is a guy that's, man, he's gonna run into guys, man. Like you don't want him to come back with a bad back and start running into guys and make it worse. So yeah, I don't know how he got on the Celebrini thing, but nah, it looks like it worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
We are brought to you by Timeline. Light Years Podcast, we're brought to you by Timeline. I'm here to tell you all about Timeline. Cellular health is the foundation of well-being and longevity. And with MitoPure supplements, you can support your health by encouraging cellular renewal. With MitoPure, you'll feel the difference in your energy levels, your workouts, your endurance, and your recovery. MitoPure is the only supplement on the market clinically proven to target the effects of age-related cellular decline. MitoPure is the research-backed innovation that unlocks your fullest potential. Now is the time to take charge of your well-being and accomplish all the goals you've set out for yourself. It's once a day, easy to take. You will thank me later. Right now, Timeline is offering 10% off your order of MitoPure. Go to timeline.com/lightyears. That's TIMELINE.com/lightyears. 10% off your order.
All right, guys. Body spec time.
Let's go.
As I told you earlier, wasn't feeling great about my body. So it's time to kind of get myself back into shape. And really, when you want to get back into shape, what you really want is like accountability. Let's be honest here. You want to really know where you're at. You get older. I don't have time to fuck around, to be honest with you. Like, I just don't have time to lie to myself and like go to the gym for 3 hours and pretend I really worked out when like really I was just kind of walking around the weight room and just bullshitting with my friends and listening to music, right? I don't have time to do any of that. So when I want to get myself into shape, I want to know where I'm really at. And that's really what's cool about a DEXA scan. DEXA scan is a highly accurate method, measures your body's composition. All the pro athletes do it. That's like the combine seasons or 240, 6% body fat, like that sort of stuff. So what BioSpec's going to do for you with a DEXA scan is give you the results of what's really going on. What's your body fat percentage? What's your lean muscle mass? What's the visceral fat around your body? All that stuff that will really help you start your fitness journey and really guide your workout to get you back into the level of shape and fitness you want to be in. And what's awesome about BodySpec is they've made it affordable for everyone. Traditionally, a DEXA scan was $200, $300, $500, thousands of dollars, whatever, that sort of thing. With the code LightYears45, codes in the bio, you get a DEXA scan for only $45. LightYears45, get a scan for $45. They have locations in the city, they have locations in LA, and they have mobile vans that will come to you. So literally, it's as simple as this: go to buyspec.com, use code LightYears45, sign up for a scan. Van comes out to you, 15, 20 minutes to scan your body. You will get the results in a couple days, and you will start your fitness journey, get back on track. And then, like Andy and me, you can enjoy a Surfside in peace.
Surfside and BodySpec, man, just the dream, the absolute dream.
All of it's working towards me being able to wear Skims in public. So that's really what we're going for here. Really, it is what it is, brother. It is what it is.
Light years, baby.
Okay, I had something I wanted to share with you as I'm having issues finding it because There we are. All right. So poly market, so betting markets currently have the Thunder 53% to win the West. Lakers number 2 at 13.9%. Nuggets number 3 at 12%. Warriors number 4 at 10.8%. This, to be clear, I pulled before the Knicks game, so I'm sure it's changed a little bit, but let's assume it hasn't changed substantially. What are your thoughts on this? Do you really think the Thunder are that far and away the favorites over the rest of the West? I guess I had 2 questions for you. One, what do you make of this? 2, is there anyone else you would even throw in there to win the West?
2 out. 2, no. Okay. Quick answer.
So we throw that one away.
Let's throw that one away. Let's talk Thunder real quick. Let's talk Thunder because I've been thinking about this a lot. Because I think you and I are pretty aligned on this. I think the national media is not. I think there's a reason. I think in 2025, 2 things are true. Number one, I think the regular season has mattered probably less than ever in 2025. I think we take regular season data, not with a grain of salt, but I think it's just not as translatable to the playoffs as I think we've seen when teams used to take the regular season more seriously. I think this regular season kind of became a joke, probably during the Warriors run. I'm not trying to make it the main character. But I think secondly, I think the media pushes the Thunder because they watch every game, and I think there's a feeling from people that watch every game that want to make stuff more meaningful than it actually is. And I think that's where it leads to the Thunder being this huge, heavy favorite people think that they're going to be, while I think you and I are probably on the side of, I just wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors beat the Thunder. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers beat the Thunder. And I'm not a big Nuggets guy. And they lost tonight to the Wizards. Now it's a regular season again. But I just wouldn't be surprised if the Nuggets beat the Thunder either. This is a huge 53% is like the Warriors in the heyday.
It's them versus the field. They're literally saying we're going to take them against the field in the
and
West.
That's not it's not like the Thunder are not beating the Lakers and the Warriors back to back in a back-to-back series. That's a brutal matchup for them. So yeah.
I hope someone clips me. I'll put money that they don't win the West. I think they can, but I don't think it's going to happen, and I have multiple reasons to believe it. The first is the point you made, which is I don't think the regular season, the playoffs have been more divergent than they are right now, which is probably the fundamental issue with the NBA. Like, if what I'm watching in March is not predictive of what I'm going to see in the playoffs, I'm not going to watch it. And that's the issue they're running into. Baseball ran into the same issue, by the way, where the regular season didn't really match the playoffs, and it led to them eventually making rule changes to make the game a little more.
That's why the Dodgers never won.
Yeah, exactly. They win 100 games a year and they lose in the first round, right? And so when I watch the Thunder, the reason I do not think they're a legitimate, I don't think they're going to win the West. They're obviously a legitimate contender. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
Is I don't think they have the shooting. I think they defend their ass off and they're super athletic, so they win in the regular season. So I don't think they have the shooting that's necessary to win in the playoffs. And the playoffs requires a lot of shooting because teams will take stuff away from you. But the second reason I don't think they will is I don't think they have layers to their offense. I think they play basketball like they're optimized by like an analytics chart.
Oh boy.
In terms of, like, I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but what is their counter move if someone can guard Shea? Him grifting? Do they run any other offense other than like an isolation? Do they do anything? Like I'm not trying to be like Steve Kerr here, but like, you know, the whole idea of like your offense being able to adapt over a 7-game series, I do think it matters. And when I watch the Thunder, I see a bunch of young players who are hyper athletic, who give a shit, who are smart players, to be clear. They are all smart players. I just don't know what they're going to do if they get punched in the mouth. Have you seen anything that indicates to me that they have any layer to their offense other than Shea kicking his leg out? Because to be clear, I think they can defend at a championship level.
Right.
I just think the offense will run dry at a certain point.
Well, the gripe, I get to the offense. The gripe I think too is with the percentage being this high is that like it's very fair to question like they just never done it before. Were they in the finals last season, Sam? Were they in the Western Conference Finals last season? Did I miss
No,
something?
they were disappointing against the Pelicans, and then Dallas ran them.
There you go. Right. I think it's just a fair question to ask is when the Warriors won their first championships, War Podcast, we're going to go to Warriors. When the Warriors won their first championship, what was the difference between them losing to the Spurs and losing to the Nuggets, or excuse me, losing to the Spurs and losing to the Clippers and then winning a championship? It was Andre Iguodala. That was the difference. Is Isaiah Hartenstein the difference? Maybe. I don't know. Did Jalen Williams? I'm not trying to be a dick. Like, did Jalen Williams take a leap that we didn't know about? I don't think so. It feels like we aren't that high on Jalen Williams this season. SGA, now maybe he took a leap. Like that's the one, right? Like he's gonna win MVP.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to take a leap, but we got to see it. Everyone's got to see it. I just think this thing where it's, hey, they're the overwhelming favorite, 53%. I know this is just, but like I feel like a lot of people are saying the same thing. It's like Thunder are the huge favorites. The Thunders will beat the shit out of the Warriors in the series. They beat the Lakers. Like, no, I don't think so, man. I especially don't think they would beat the Warriors or the Lakers if they come. I just saw Luka beat them. I just saw Luka.
I also just like another take I have is I want the Thunder early because
Warriors aren't tired. They just give it everything.
I think my number one concern with the Warriors is the most obvious one, which is I don't know if they have the legs to do 2 months. I really don't. I really don't. I think they could beat the Thunder today in a 7-game series. And
it's going to be one of those.
But like that's the point. Like if they play them, let's just say 3 rounds in, and everyone on the Warriors is hobbled, like they could probably beat them. You know, like that sort of thing. So.
Well, it's going to be one of those series. Now, I'm going to go back to your layers point because I'm glad you brought that up. And I think it's always proven in a 7-game series, back to what Steve Kerr is saying, the Warriors, they love to steal a game if it's a road game. But the Warriors are also really good at turning a series on its head in the middle of a series because of a couple things, right? Look at Boston. Look what the Warriors were able to do to Boston. Down 2-1. Now, they stole the game because of Steph in game 4. But once they figured out that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown couldn't dribble, the series was over. Absolutely over. There were no more other layers, right? And then once they figured out that the Celtics, if they can put Steph and do X and Jordan Poole and they couldn't guard these guys, it was over. Wiggins, I don't forget that. But the Warriors won 4 and then 5 and 6. They won them soundly, right? And so I think to your point, that's the layer stuff that's different where that's not what you do in a March game. Right? March game is 1 game. But when you're in deep at a playoff series and all of a sudden Shea is struggling, all of a sudden the Warriors take away I keep saying Jalen Green, Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren. Then what are we talking about? Right? All of a sudden it's a lot of Lou Dort. All of a sudden Alex Caruso is not getting guarded. Right? All of a sudden these things, to your point, these things get changed in a game 4 of a series that I think people don't think about. And I already know, don't we already know the defense the Warriors are going to run against the Thunder? It's going to be Shea go for 50, and we'll just shut everyone else down. It's the most.
They're going to sag off. They're going to sag off a Shea. Like it's going to be like, hey, dude,
go get it. Go get it.
If you can hit 10 threes, go for it, brother.
Go.
At no point do I believe he can shoot from the outside the way they need him to.
Yeah.
So, and then I look at the rest of the team. I mean, Jalen Williams is just a worse version of Shea. He's not really a shooter. He wants him. I mean. I love him, honestly. Okay. He's a good player. Okay. I actually think they're not a good fit together, if I'm being honest with you. I wanted him on the Warriors because, pre-Jimmy, because he does a lot of things the Warriors needed, which was he could get to the rim. He can handle the ball off the dribble. But, like, if Shea's handling it, what is he doing? Standing there, like they don't really have guys who make each other better offensively. Defensively is a different issue. They can really defend. And honestly, if you can defend at the level they defend, you don't need the prettiest offense. You just need to make enough shots. And that's kind of been their recipe in general. So, like, that's why I won't write them off. I do think I have zero concerns about their defense. I think their defense translates to the playoffs. Shea can defend. Jalen Williams can defend. Obviously, guys like Caruso and Dort, those are Warrior guys. Like, those are guys I would love. They do all those things. I'm just watching them in general, and I'm just like, man, if you make Shea inefficient, where are they getting offense from? Where is it coming from?
I'm going to go the other way, though. Like, no matter how great your defense is going to be, if you're going up against a transcendent offensive player, that's Steph, Jokic, Luka, it kind of doesn't. LeBron,
Sure.
Jimmy, playoff Jimmy. Don't forget playoff Jimmy. It kind of.
Playoff Jimmy
I'm not
top
gonna
5.
say he really is. I'm not gonna say it doesn't matter, but a lot of that. Hey, we're gonna be dogs and suffocate you on defense in a regular season game. A lot of that does go away when you're going up against GOAT level players. The way that I think. I mean, for sure, Steph, LeBron, and then Jokic are, right? Like, those are the top 3 guys, right, in a playoff series. And so I'm with you. The qualm isn't that we're not saying the Thunder aren't title contenders, but to be this heavily favored it's honestly, it's bullshit. It doesn't make any sense.
I want him. Honestly, I just want, and I say this as someone who wants 10 different Thunder players on the Warriors. So it's not like I don't like them. Like, I don't know. I take Aaron Wiggins on the Warriors. I take Hardenstein on. Like, they have a lot of good players. Good players are a good thing to have.
But
I just feel like their collective doesn't necessarily have a transcendent ceiling. Like, I'm watching them, I'm just like, this isn't a title caliber offense. And even you want to say I said the same thing about the Celtics, and I might have.
I did.
The Celtics didn't really get to a title level offense until they got Drew Holiday in there. And next thing you know, they went from a team who just wanted to ISO to like, oh, now the ball's popping. Now they have the ability to generate offense when things aren't working well collectively. That's like what was interesting to me about the Celtics. I didn't know if they had that in them, to be honest with you, and they did. So
I think let's stay on that point because I think that part is true. Offensively, you're going to need role guys to hit shots, and it's fair to question if their role guys can hit shots. Andre Iguodala hit shots. Klay Thompson obviously hit shots. Sean Livingston hit shots, right?
Dude,
even Harrison Barnes hit shots.
How hard is it to hit? Imagine Lou Dort when Shea's been monopolizing the ball for 80 minutes. I don't know why I said 80, but you know what I'm saying? Like, just monopolize, and next thing you get the kick out, and it's like, now I got to hit a shot?
Well,
I haven't touched the ball in 5 fucking minutes. Like, I'm sorry. I cannot endorse the Thunder brand of basketball after I've spent a fucking decade saying the Rockets can never win play that way.
Yeah, that's facts. It's true. I gotta see Aaron Wiggins make it. I gotta see Isaiah Joe. I know he doesn't miss against the Warriors. I gotta see him hit a big shot. I gotta see these dudes hit big shots before I can just sit here and say that they're gonna be in the NBA freaking final. Like, you got to beat the best before you become the best. They even make it to the fucking Western Conference. All right, that's it. That's it on the Thunder for me. I don't think it's hate. I don't think it's hate. I think it's we need to see more. I think
this is exceptionalism, buddy. Jimmy brought us back.
I've never felt more.
We are, the Warriors. I think they're going to get to the 5 seed. To be honest with you, I'm looking at the standings right now.
Yes, they can.
I don't know if they're going to get above 4 or 5. That feels a little unrealistic. Here we go. His standings. They're 2 back of the Lakers, who.
I
don't know, man. I don't know when LeBron's coming back. I don't know. It's realistic there. I don't know if they're going to get above that. To be honest,
that's tough. The Grizzlies are
too many teams.
Yeah.
Oof. And you got Minnesota on their ass too. That's the funny part. Minnesota's playing the best basketball they've played all season.
Well, Sam, you know what's funny though? If Denver's a 3 seed, it's not that I'm high. I'm not high on Denver, so it's not like I'm this thing. But like, if Houston keeps winning and they're the 2 seed or Memphis does, like, is it a bad thing if the Warriors drop to the 7 and the Warriors play the 7-8 game? They're gonna beat the Clippers in the 7-8 game. So is it a bad thing if the Warriors are in a 2-7 series against the Houston Rockets? Who is favored?
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. They're so the standings as of today is the 2 seed through the 5 seed all have 25 losses, different win totals depending on games they've played. And then the Warriors are sitting behind them with 28 losses. It's in play. I don't think they're going to jump all these teams. Like, I would bet money they don't jump all these teams. It's too much. Just someone's not going to free fall, but they could get to the 4 or 5 game here. I want them in the 4 or 5. Give me a 4 or 5 versus Memphis or Houston. And then give me a little OKC. That's my preferred path. That's what I want.
Wait, hold on. You want the Rockets? You want OKC? Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. We're gonna get Warriors
what
Lakers. We're gonna get Warriors.
then we get what Adam Silver's really saving all his money for, which is Warriors Lakers.
Yeah, we're gonna get Warriors. We're gonna
the Lakers are gonna look pathetic for a couple weeks here,
Yeah.
but do not write them off. When LeBron once he gets that Balco shipment, once Luka gets into shape, they're gonna be scary. They're gonna be scary. They're always scary.
Bullshit. Just such bullshit.
They're
the two best teams in the West.
As our guy Fitz said, do you want to play them with the whistle they get? Oh, I know we're sounding like honestly, the vibes are high. The confidence is very high right now, but I can't ask for more. I got the trade I wanted at the deadline.
Yes, it is.
And they look excellent. And we'll get into it. I'm excited for the next two games. Andy, go enjoy another Surfside.